All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network with me, your host, Josh Reeves. This is the Tuesday into Wednesday edition of the broadcast, September 30th into October 1st, 2014. Thank you for being with us for another edition of the show. Got some news to get into with you here tonight on the broadcast. And we'll be going through as much of that for you here tonight as we can. My website where this broadcast originates from is theglobalreality.com. That's theglobalreality.com. You can find everything up there pertaining to our work. You can find all the films to buy, downloads, whatnot of. There we recently, earlier this year, put up some of the first films, the first two films that I did up there, available to buy and downloads of. Some people haven't seen my early films. You can get those downloads up there for $10. 9/11 New World Rising, the original cut. We premiered it in the theater in 2007. And then a few months later, I did another cut. And that was really the one most people saw. But the original cut, as it was originally done, really didn't get seen. So that had never been released outside of the original first premiere of that film. You can also get The Secret Right, Volume 1, my expose into the secretive right-wing group, the Council for National Policy. Completely decimates the phony left-right paradigm and shows that they're really two peas in the same pod. That film had never been released in HD, and we found a high-res archive copy that I was able to remaster and re-edit into 1080 HD. It looks fantastic, so that's up there as well. As well as The Secret Right, Volume 1, Volume 2. You can get downloads, all that stuff up there at my website, theglobalreality.com. Last week was our 7-year anniversary of this show. September 2007, that was a big month for me. I premiered my first film and started my radio show all within a span of a few weeks of each other. And, I was doing a lot of stuff before that, for years, activist stuff, and wasn't really out there in the public eye that much, but except here locally. And I'm just still, astounded how much we've been able to accomplish. But also, it's hard for me to look back. The biggest thing about having done this as long as I have now is I can really see how far I've come. I mean, I've progressed more as a researcher, a person, a filmmaker, everything. I mean, I've progressed and grown more in the past 7 years than I think I have my whole life previous to that. Because that's what this does. I mean, when you do this full time like I do, I mean, you have to grow and change. I mean, the stuff that I talked about a couple of years ago, a year or two ago, I mean, I constantly change my opinion on stuff, and that's the sign of a researcher, and that's really what I consider myself first and foremost, although I wear a lot of hats, editor, sound guy, everything, photographer, videographer, editing, all of it, compose the music. I mean, I do every part of all this. And the one part that I need the most help on, as always, is having the financial support to be able to do all this. And we just have been teetering on the edge of not being able to continue for the past couple of months here. We had our clean out the shop campaign for our Etsy store. I talked about that last week and talked about the reasons why we were doing that. Made a little video about it. But we just didn't have the response that we needed to get out of that. We didn't. I mean, we had some We had a few people place orders, and we thank those people very much. If you did participate and did buy something from our shop during that campaign, we thank you very much, and we hope that you enjoy your items when you receive them. So far, everybody that's gotten stuff so far has been really pleased. All our customers are totally happy because we only provide top-notch stuff. I mean, we really get good stuff. But you can still go over there to our Etsy shop. We have links to stuff up at the Global Reality Facebook page. There's also a link over to the Let There Be Rocks Facebook page on my website, theglobalreality.com. It says Gem and Mineral Sale. Click that, it'll take you to the Facebook page. And then on the Facebook page, there are links to our Etsy shop. But you can also find the Etsy shop by just going to etsy.com, ETSY. Type Let There Be Rocks, and you'll be able to find the shop there. The URL for that is www.etsy.com/shop/ Let There Be Rocks, one word, capitalize each word in that. And that's how you can find it. So if you still want to participate, if you still want to help in that, it's not too late. You can still go over there and get yourself something nice. We have since we had a couple of people place orders, we actually have are in better shape with our operating costs this month than we have been in a while. So that's really been a relief. We still need $200 by tomorrow. That's really not bad. You know, a lot of times it's $400 or $500 that we're needing. This time it's only $200. So, you know, if somebody goes over there to our Etsy shop and buys $200 worth of stuff, or somebody just donates $200, I'll hook you up with a prize pack for sure. Some assorted stones, whatever. But that's what we need by tomorrow. We absolutely have to have that by tomorrow. Today actually now, Wednesday. But if you're listening to this and you hear me saying tomorrow, I mean Wednesday. So sometime today, Wednesday, we got to have a minimum of 200 in here. And I think that we think about that. That's only 8 people donating $25. 8 people donate $25, we're there. You know, one person donates $200, we're there. So, but my plan with this has been to, I wanted to sell every item we had up there. I wanted everybody to respond and do that. Everybody did not. So, I'm just not going to quit. And the interest in my work, I got to tell you, it's at an all-time high. While the support is at an all-time low. And I don't know, folks. We're just running out of time. I mean, that's the bottom line. And with all this, it's just it's hard for me to even think about it, talk about this, especially after. Well, you guys all know where I live. I mean, I live here in Dallas. Obviously, you've all heard the news of what's going on here. And, wouldn't it figure that the first case of this government-owned and patented and controlled released virus, the first outbreak in America. Didn't Obama just say last week, didn't he just give a speech? Didn't the president of the United States give a speech last week and say the likelihood of it coming to America is small? Because I know for a fact 2 weeks ago, the head of the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, said, probably wouldn't make it to America. Well, these guys have both been proven wrong in a very short amount of time. And now they're telling us here in Dallas, oh, don't worry about it. It won't outbreak. I'm sorry, you guys don't rank real high on the trust scale. It has been a week to 2 weeks. You're telling us it's not going to make it here. A week to 2 weeks later, it's here. And again, it's just another one of these frauds and attempts. I mean, they tried this under Bush. They tried this. They tried it right before the first time Obama got elected, swine flu and bird flu and all that crap. And the fact that people still buy into this stuff, I mean, look at this fucking thing. The evidence is there. It takes an 8-year-old 2 seconds to look this stuff up and find out for themselves. Just go type in Ebola patent. The Center for Disease Control in 2009 patented. Who is the Center for Disease Control run by? United States government, right? They patented this Ebola virus in 2009. I mean, this is absolutely a stage-controlled outbreak. You know, who owns the patent for the vaccine? GSK, GlaxoSmithKline. Let me tell you a little story about GlaxoSmithKline. GlaxoSmithKline were also one of their older inventions on top of this Ebola vaccine that they'll presumably will be a hot selling product for them, which, knowing their track record, is what actually contains the Ebola virus itself. See, all of this stuff is not actually the virus. All this is being based on a diagnosis. This is the same operation that GlaxoSmithKline ran already with the AIDS scam. Folks, I've done the research on this because it plays into a film I'm going to make down the line. And so I've already got these guys pegged. I already know what they've been up to, and they have not been up to anything good. GlaxoSmithKline invented something called amyl nitrates, also known as poppers. These were huge in the homosexual scene, late 70s and 80s, and even into today, they're still popular. But these amyl nitrates cause changes and mutations in DNA, and they cause markers and things to pop up within the human body that then, when someone goes to the doctor and the doctor sees these markers are then used to diagnose someone based on their, the control questions they ask you when you have an HIV/AIDS test. And these two factors combine for them to give you this phony diagnosis for a virus, AIDS, that's never been isolated. The AIDS virus has never been isolated. It's never been found. They claim it has. They have one blurry picture. It's never been isolated. It's a phony diagnosis that they then use to give you AIDS status, which then they diagnose you the drugs with that would kill you, eventually kill you. Now, what they did when the AIDS thing started to break out in the 1980s, late 70s, 1980s, was GlaxoSmithKline created these poppers that created this symptom that they used as a diagnosis for AIDS. They then turn around and market as the AIDS drug, the predominant AIDS drug, a failed cancer drug called AZT. AZT itself, watch the movie Dallas Buyers Club. Matthew McConaughey. I mean, it's a true story. That wraps it up in a nutshell. That the AZT, just like chemotherapy, is what kills you, not the AIDS or the phony thing that doesn't exist. That's what it does. So GlaxoSmithKline created a phony disease with a phony diagnosis that didn't exist, then provided what they claimed to be the cure or the medicine for that. And that medicine itself was actually what kills you and gives symptoms of respiratory failure. That's what it does. It does all the things that we're told that HIV and AIDS does to your body. That's what AZT and other AIDS drugs do to your body. And they're doing the same thing again with this Ebola. They're going to manufacture, as they are now, the big scare, the big hype, the big worry. And then they are going to convince the population that the only solution, again, the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution, the only solution for that will be their GlaxoSmithKline produced vaccine, who owned the patent for the Ebola virus, which the Center for Disease Control owns. So that's pretty black and white collusion of government and the pharmaceutical industries right there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how anyone could call that a conspiracy theory or, what is there in that is theory? Nothing. The cold hard fact is that your government, the government of the United States, and other governments of the world are conspiring with the pharmaceutical industrial complex to be able to achieve mutual gains for their mutual interests, which is the two main interests that there always is. Total control, large amounts of death, and large amounts of dollars. That's what they want to do. And look at what they've already done in some of these other countries, folks. Quarantine and locking down entire countries, martial law declared. They have taken the Federal Emergency Management Agency here in the local area has gone to high alert. If they start thinking this thing is outbreaking in any kind of way here, folks, they're going to lock down the whole area where I live, and this means me too. And I am none too fucking happy about it because it's all fucking bullshit. And any kind of fucking thing that they do, they're going to try to quarantine areas like Dallas and others and then force everybody to take these vaccines, which in the end will be what kills you. So you want to talk about hitting a little close to home, folks. This hits a little close to home for me.